Hi there, my name is Angus Wright, and I live in Ottawa, Canada. And today I'm going to present to you um, an overview of the 5 key concepts, the wellness toolbox, and all of the sections of RAP, including the daily maintenance plan, triggers and action plans, early warning signs and action plans, when things are breaking down and action plans, and all of the parts of the crisis plan and post-crisis plan. So for personal wrap, essentially we start out with the 5 key concepts and recovery. So the 5 key concepts are hope, personal responsibility, education, support, and self-advocacy. And what hope means to me, I try to live with unlimited hope. Hope gives me the idea that I have something to look forward to. And in my wellness, I often need that. I live with depression and anxiety, and often my thoughts and feelings can contradict what I want my outcome to be or my overall opinion about something. So for hope, I just give myself an unlimited amount of hope that I can use, and I can hope for anything. I can hope that it's sunny tomorrow. I can hope that I get a free meal, like all sorts of things. I don't limit that. Personal responsibility. For me, personal responsibility is a big key for me to be able to reflect, understand, and set my own limits and boundaries when it comes to things. I tend to worry about everything and everyone, and personal responsibility allows me to reflect on the parts that I can control. So I can control how I act and how I react to any given situation. And personal responsibility as a key concept really lets me be very reflective on what is mine and what isn't mine to carry in that respect. Education for me has been a huge key factor, both in relying on the fact that even though I'm a 46-year-old man, even though I essentially have no formal education because I just have a GED that I got 20 years ago, it doesn't mean that I don't have the ability to research, understand, and like essentially do my own learning when it comes to the things that medical professionals and the workforce and all those sorts of folks, what they've said about me, what I've been diagnosed with, and stuff like that. Um, but also to be able to touch on those areas and then really understand how it works in my life, how it applies to me so that I can make those adjustments and corrections as I go along, and also articulate what my needs are and what my wants are based on what my actual lived experience is, and not sort of a generalized doom and gloom picture about what my recovery looks like. Support. Support for me is really key. I've had moments in my life where I felt like I had absolutely no supporters, where I've had to start over from scratch because of the circumstances around my wellness. And then support for me is also looking at who can I start to like rely on and ask for the support that I need in a way that is very specific to my needs. So not like a general like, hey, I'm having a hard time, come and rescue me, but more like, hey, I'm noticing that I'm not accessing food very well. Do you mind coming and being with me when we go shop for groceries? Or do you mind picking up some stuff that I need so that I can have it on hand, that sort of thing. And then for me as well, support is who not to have um, in my circle of influence when I'm not feeling well as well. So part of it is identifying what support means to me, but also like who are my actual supporters, what does that look like, And then self-advocacy is really important to me because I have a Bill of Rights. I know what my rights are. I need to be cognizant of what my rights are so that I can really stand up for myself in those moments, because my ability to communicate can be affected by my wellness. And so self-advocacy allows me to determine what I need for me, um, and that is something that is very important to me, and also a big part of the of developing a personal rep. And these 5 key concepts in recovery were established in the late 90s when Mary Ellen Copeland and a group of folks um, up in Vermont had a retreat to start discussing these important things about living in our own wellness and recovering in our own wellness. So I'm very thankful for that. The next part is actually building a wellness toolbox. So a wellness toolbox can literally look like anything, but it's essentially made up of safe, non-invasive, accessible, low cost, and these are just things and elements that help recognize and restore my wellness. So my very first wellness toolbox was an actual small box that was like a Rolodex. I love vintage things, and so I really love like the action of opening this box, rolling it back, and in it I have like notes. I have different business cards and things of people that I had interacted with. I have a small crocheted owl that my aunt had made for me because I love owls, and I just love the act of that gifting to me. So it brings me quite a lot of joy. I actually have like a multi-tool that a friend had given me. He was worried about me and wanted me to have that tool, and so that really just touches my heart. Even though I don't really need that tool all the time, just knowing that I have it, it's there. I would also go on to say that I have zoomed out and I make everything a wellness toolbox. My car is full of things that will keep me busy if I'm stressed out while I'm out and about. This bookcase behind me is full of items that bring me joy, that touch on those key concepts, like as far as things that I can read, things that I can interact with, things that I can play with. And so that's my wellness toolbox. And then the next part of the of RAP is the like making a 3-part daily plan. So looking at what does it look like when I'm feeling well. And for me, I'm when I'm feeling well, I'm like this. I'm very calm. I'm clear. I'm articulate. I can smile. I can tune in. I have a really good sense of humor. I'm very interested in people. You can't see the wrinkles on my forehead because I'm not giving you like stress lines. I'm just really easygoing and easy to get with. And then what do I need to do every day to stay well? So for me, every single day, I need to wake up and have a morning routine where I come in, I brew a pot of coffee. I maybe will pick up a couple things in the kitchen to clear it up if I need to, just to clear my head while I'm waiting for the coffee to brew. And then I come and I turn on my television and my computer, and I actually really like to listen to a podcast that gives me a lot to reflect on mindfully, and it just gives me like a very zen start to my day, because with my anxiety and the way I get distracted by a lot of things, I can go left, right, and center. And so this is just a really good way of like purposefully doing self-care that's going to start me out in a very neutral way. I'm not taking on a lot of opinions that I'm going to get hooked into by looking at the news and stuff like that. And so that's something I need to do every day. I need to take certain meds every day. Those meds help me not have to deal with acid reflux, for example, which, my physical elements can really pull from my mental health. And so taking those medications, making sure I'm getting a certain amount of water in every day, making sure that I have food in my body that allows me to have enough energy to get through the day. And then, so those are things that I need to do every day to stay well. And then there are certain things that I might need to do occasionally to stay well. And those things might include going for a really long drive, spending a day with my favorite tree. I know that might seem odd to some people, but I have this wonderful tree that I used to meditate with every day. And I used to just reflect on what that tree looked like and what the roots were like and how that root, it grows over time and that sort of thing. So when I'm in a certain place, I can just go and do that, and it takes me back to that meditative space. Things I might need to do occasionally to stay well. Maybe I need to actually just take a day and go thrift store shopping, or maybe I need to call certain people, certain friends, so that I can just catch up and feel really grounded and rooted. So that's stuff that I might need to do occasionally. Maybe it's a spa day. Maybe it's going and washing my car. Just stuff that feels really relaxing and calm for me. So that is that. And then another part is identifying triggers, which are those things that are outside of me and that cause a reaction in me, and then identifying what the action plan is around that. So having an if this happens, then I will do this sort of thing. And for me, I can get triggered by so many things. So for me, I can get triggered by the news. I can get triggered by, doom scrolling on the internet, which is where you basically just see negative information all the time and negative opinions about stuff. And so for me, I know that when that happens, I actually have websites, I have social media people, I have all sorts of things that I can click away from that stuff and get to the stuff that really speaks to me and creates more of a balance for me. Whenever I'm triggered by some person, whether they be somebody I know or somebody who's a stranger, often I will take action by basically saying, I have a list of things that I'll say in order to put a pause or a stop to that conversation. And I have a list of things where I call it my no same day appointments. So, and I don't have a complaint department, which just are ways that I indicate to myself that I'm not there for that in that moment. I can take personal responsibility and be available to follow up when I'm in a better space and when I'm able to put more context to the situation. So that's part of my identifying the triggers and taking actions around those. And that's been a big key for my recovery as well. Identifying early warning signs. And that's the stuff that is internal, right? And that I react to, and then having action plans around that. So for me, I know that if I start to be kind of weary and leery, is that the word I'm looking for? So when I'm starting to wonder, is this something that feels good, or am I really identifying with this information? Sometimes I just do that. Sometimes that's part of my wellness, where I just start to question everybody and everything, and I have a lot of trust issues sometimes. So now I go, well, what is making me feel those things? What is making me question this dynamic or this relationship? Especially when it comes to people that I love and I have a regular interaction with. Or an early warning sign for me is that I'm starting to really question the dynamics in the relationship. I don't have a solid self-image sometimes. Like I really have like self-esteem things going on. So I notice that if I'm having negative self-talk a lot or about a certain topic a lot, then that's when I notice, okay, this is an early warning sign. I need to check in with the different points in my wellness. Like, what is my food like? What is my nourishment and hydration and all of those things? Because in my wellness, my physical affects my mental affects my physical. And then, so that's that early warning sign stuff, because that's the stuff that if I take small steps, I can turn around. Then there's the, like when things are breaking down factor. And that's where I have to take like quick and really pointed action and, and to have action plans in place. So I'm a huge breathing guy, and when I'm having anxiety and stuff like that, something that I've learned works for me is when I used to have panic attacks, I would hyperventilate. But I noticed that when things are breaking down and I need to take immediate action, if I change my breathing on purpose and extend like a faster breathing, that helps get that oxygen into my body. But it also kind of shocks me out of my pattern of thinking as well, that negative pattern of thinking. So that's something that I know I can action to really have an impact when I'm starting to break down. I have places that I can be that I have identified as safe zones. So for me, when things are breaking down, as long as I can get to a quiet place with low stimulation, as long as I can get to an open place where I feel like I have a lot of exits, if I can get to a place that has grass, trees, water, any of those things, if I'm out and about, if I can get to my car again is that wellness toolbox on wheels, right? So if I can get to my car, then I have all of that stuff as well. So those are the things that I know that I can do in action when I'm breaking down. So now I'm going to go over the parts of the crisis and the support plans. So the first part is, what am I like when I'm feeling well? So I want to be able to be really descriptive to people. I want people to understand what I look like when I'm well, so that if I don't appear to be well, then they can check in with me, right? You know, I so that's, yeah. So anyway, and especially when it comes to supporters, right? Like the more descriptive I can be. So um, more detail is better in that regard. But trying to keep it very specific in detail, not just like a flood of data, so to speak. So when I'm feeling well, again, I know that I know that I'm jovial, agreeable. When I'm not, so anyway, signs that I need supporters to be involved. So I need supporters to be involved when my speech starts to slur, when I seem upset and I'm not reacting to questions or emotional responses from people. I need my supporters to be involved when certain people are in my personal space or in my workspace. I need to have some supports from certain people like supervisors or attendants or any of those things. Then also supporters who I want involved, and and often supporters who I don't want to have involved. Right? There are certain people who don't correlate with me very well, or that could be triggering for me. So that's very important about who my supporters are and what my supporters look like. Then the fourth part is medications and supplements and healthcare. So things that I need to take, like supplements or certain pills. Like I have acid reflux, so I need to have an acid reflux pill. Home care and community supports and community care centers that I can be involved in as resources that's specific to my needs. Hospital or other treatment facilities, So those are the do's and don'ts of places that work and don't work for me. Help from others and what that looks like specifically, and then inactivating the plan. So what happens when all is well? So the next part is planning for post-crisis support, and then reworking my RAP plan after a crisis. So when I'm back at it and feeling better. And then the other part of the personal RAP is the sessions, which also explore things like recovery topics. So things like self-esteem, motivation, lifestyle, um, things like changing negative thoughts to positive thoughts, tools to deal with things in the workplace, that sort of thing. So that is a breakdown of what the personal wellness recovery action plan looks like. Again, I'm Angus Wright, and I live in Ottawa, Canada, and I've been living RAP for about 3 years now.